The annual trip west for the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series marks the halfway point of the season. As the Tour rolls into Vernon for the longest race of the year, everyone is focused on the 22 Canadian Tire Dodge of Scott Steckly. He won this race last year. He starts from the pole tonight, and he's the one everyone is trying to catch.
Scott Steckly has been quietly stealing the show and putting a stranglehold on the points lead. The man from Milverton, Ontario's one win and 4 top 5 finishes coming into Vernon. With 5 different winners in as many races, who will it be to take the checker here at race number 6 of the 2011 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series on TSN? From the Okanagan region, just outside of Vernon, British Columbia, Motoplex Speedway presents the A&W Crusin The Dub 300. Hello everyone and welcome to a beautiful night here in the Rocky Mountain foothills. I'm Dave Bradley along with veteran racer Billy Rouse Jr. and Todd Lewis is trackside. Billy, this is interesting and a challenging racetrack.
Well, it's a real compact half-mile oval, Dave, and it's kind of tricky because you're on the throttle a long time down the front stretch with that big sweeping straightaway, and then you got the short backstretch. But by far, the trickiest part of this racetrack is turn 2. They carry so much speed down into turn 1, you get the car turn, get back on the throttle, and look at all the marks, because if you get the car out too far, bang, here comes that fence. It's going to sneak up and bite you.
As we mentioned, Scott Steckly, our Castrol points leader coming into this race. He has a 92-point lead over DJ Kennington, and both drivers have had great results here at Vernon. Steckly, though, yet to have a miscue here in 2011. And we take a look at the Keystone Pole Award. Goes to the 22 of Scott Steckly. Had a great lap around this half-mile oval, turning it in 18.386 seconds. That's for an average speed of just over 98 miles an hour. He will start in top spot, earning the Keystone Light Pole. And so with that, let's send it trackside for the command for today's race.
Services Canada, Mr. John Hollins, for the words we've been waiting for.
Drivers, start your engine.
NASCAR horsepower coming to life here in Vernon, British Columbia. We could call this place Thunder Valley.
21 cars set to take the green here at the A&W Crusin The Dub 300. There's an onboard shot on board the 48 car today, driven by Nathan Wink. Pierre Bourque will have an onboard view as well out of the 00 Dodge, and a great crowd here in Vernon set to take in their only NASCAR Canadian Tire Series race of the 2011 season. And the field rolls off. We'll take a look at the Fuel Doctor starting grid. On pole is the 22-year points leader, Scott Steckly. DJ Kennington, second in points, will start alongside. J.R. Fitzpatrick and Don Thompson Jr. will make up row 2. They're former teammates. Jim White's behind the wheel of the 12, and Petey Shepard in the 7 car will make up row 3. There is Nathan Wink in the 48. Kerry Mix in the 02. That's row number 4. Row 5 has Jason White and the 21. Mark Dilley pilots the 9. A look back to row number 6 is Jason Hathaway in the 3, and Trevor Siebert pilots the 69. Row number 7 is the 60, Ron Beauchamp Jr. and James Van Domselaar in the 14 car. And row number 8, Dexter Stacy in the 55. Jared Whistle in the 44. He's making his first oval track start in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. There's Pierre Bourque in the 00 beside rookie contender, the 07 of Isabel Tremblay. Sarah Cornett-Ching in the 25 making her first start. And Shannon Harding's in the 36. And Noel Dowler is driving the 5 in row number 11. And Dowler changed a motor prior to the race, so that's the reason he starts at the back.
What a great looking field of stock cars here tonight. As we talked about earlier, half-mile tri-oval. It's a very long race, 300 laps, 150 miles. Last year's race was won by our pole sitter, Scott Steckly. Now let's get an update from his crew chief. Julio, you got a copy? This is Billy Rouse Jr. in the tower.
Yeah, 10-4, Billy, I got you.
Julio, long race here in Vernon, British Columbia, 300 hard laps. What's the plan?
Well, Billy, hopefully we're not going to get too loose in this race. That's going to dictate really whether we're going to stop earlier or not. We got a great starting position, and what we're going to do is take on some fuel. We're not getting the fuel mileage we want, so we're going to have to come in a little earlier for fuel, and hopefully we'll get tires a little late in the race.
Thanks, Julio. Good luck tonight.
No problem, Billy. Thanks.
Scott Steckly, Billy Rouse in the tower. You got me?
Got you, Billy.
Scott, you didn't have a lot of fun in practice, but you certainly got it dialed in for qualifying. How's the car feeling?
It wasn't where we wanted it in practice. We made a bunch of big changes before qualifying, and qualifying turned out good, so we're hoping the car has a good balance for the race, and we can stay up front all night.
Well, good luck, Scotty, and give it a good ride.
Thanks, Billy.
And that is some pretty great insight. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep that 22 at the front of the field all night long. With one more check-in with Todd before we go green, send it down pit side.
Fellas, the 3 female drivers in this field are all lined up one after another. The 07 of Isabelle Tremblay also has Tim Ellis on her crew this weekend with a little bit of consulting. Driving the number 25 car from the Jason White stable of cars, Sarah Cornette Ching. She has run a lot of laps here in a late model car, really knows this track very well, and Jason's very impressed with her. Also participating in this race, the 36 of Shannon Harding. She's run some events before. She's still battling with that car, even though they've completely redone the front end for this race.
And the field bunching off of 4. Be interesting to see how that plays out. Jonathan McMurray, an A&W franchise owner, green flag waves, and we're underway in Vernon.
Down into turn 1, side by side the first time. Battle down the backstretch for position. A pair of hot Dodges up front.
1 and 2 in the points, and side by side here in the opening laps of the A&W Crusin The Dub 300, and it will be DJ Kennington, the leader of lap number 1.
Wow, 5 bonus points real early. Very important to hear that spotter telling him he was on the corner, on the corner. Very important communication. The driver has to trust the spotter.
With this trial, oh, we got problems early on. The 21 of Jason White goes around, lights up the rear tires. No caution yet. Now the caution comes out, and that'll slow the field, but caution early on here in Vernon, not something we normally see. Usually very few cautions. We'll have another look. On board with Jason Hathaway.
Wow, 2 cars fighting for the same real estate down into turn 3, and the 21 goes around.
Nathan Wink, the pinball in that as well. The 48 also involved, but no harm, no foul. The 21 gets going. He'll tag on to the tail of the field, but we're under caution here early in Vernon. The 6th race of the 2011 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series on TSN is brought to you by Mopar, authentic performance. By Castrol Edge, our best Castrol ever. And by E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn. Well, we did manage to get back to green momentarily. The 44 of Jared Whistle and the 36 of Shannon Harding had their issues. Let's take another look at this as Whistle gets pushed behind the wall in the infield in the 44. Looks like heavy damage to the 36 car. The nose completely torn off, and now a bunch of body damage as Shannon Harding got going, but it looks like the 44 also unable to rejoin this field as we look to head back to green once again. The 17 of DJ Kennington, the 22 of Scott Steckly will lead him to green once again, and they rub going into 1.
That looks like the start of the race all over again, except for the 2 cars that swapped. The 17 now out front. He's got the preferred groove. The outside groove will come in, Dave, but it'll take a little bit of running.
The 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick, the Equipment Express Chevy, right up in there as well. Fitzpatrick looking to turn his luck around. He's had a couple of flat tires, especially in the road course races this year. It just hasn't had the finishes that team has deserved.
Well, JR is a tremendous talent, and the car's been fast every race. He just had some real terrible luck. Yeah, look at the focus on Scott Steckly's face, but the freight train's going through in the bottom. He's a veteran. He's not getting too excited. Little loose up off the corner.
And there's the National Exhaust number 7 Dodge of Pete Shepard as Steckly gets into the back of the 84, trying to make that outside groove work. He can't quite do it. Now Shepard will duck underneath the 84, and here comes mixed contact with the 22 as we ride on board Scott Steckly. Look at how close these cars get up off the corner.
That's probably one of the best camera angles you'll ever get to see. Oh, the 8 car comes in and puts the right front to him.
You can see the body flex as those 2 cars got together. And Don Thompson Jr. not too far away as Steckly continues to try and fight in that upper groove. What did his spotter tell him at that point? There's a gap behind the 8 car. Maybe back off a little bit.
He probably would be telling him, but you know, as a racer, you really don't want to give the spot up unless you really have to.
Now I think Steckly will take that advice and drop in behind the Farmers Feed Families, number 8 of Don Thompson Jr. There's a little bump saying, I didn't really appreciate that rubbing down the backstretch.
You just got to give him a little tap just to make him understand that, you know what, a little early, but all's good.
Well, Canadian Tire Dodge goes from the front of the pack to the middle of it as he drops to the nose going into the corner. Very soft spring setup on these cars. There's a couple combatants have done that once or twice before here in 2011. Kerry Mix under the back bumper of the Equipment Express 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick.
Wow, smoke rolling off the right and the left rear there. A lot of fun here early on as the 84 and the 02 go at it.
But this is pretty hard racing for the early going. This is the longest race of 2011.
Even though it's a long race, Dave, they know that they're going to come and get fresh right side tires halfway or a little bit earlier. So they'll use them up now, get the goodie out of it.
There you see your leader, DJ Kennington, going around the 21 of Jason White, who received a black flag. He jumped the last restart. He's all the way back in 19th. Not the run that the A&W Dodge wanted to have here on his home track.
Well, it's like family bragging rights when you got your brother and your own team car in the race. You want to be the best car, but not quite working out for him today.
There is your points leader, Scott Steckly, who's managed to get back around the 8 of Don Thompson Jr. as we ride along with the Mopar Dodge. The 60 of Ron Beauchamp Jr. is sitting in 7th.
Boy, that gives you a great idea of how long they're on the throttle down that front stretch. We were looking back at the 60 car of Ron Beauchamp. He was flying the nose hard.
Now on board the 3 of Jason Hathaway in the Snap-on Dodge, as he sits in 8th position just behind that 60 Dodge of Ron Beauchamp Jr. And look at this pack of traffic. The 21 of Jason White, the 5 Emco Dodge of Noel Dowler, and there's the 7 of Pete Shepard. As we ride on board with White, who, as we mentioned, is in 19th spot. And Shepard currently running in 2nd position, but look at the traffic between him and the leader. There's Isabel Tremblay there. You have the 25 of Porta Ching, and Porta Ching says hello to the Canadian Tire Series and touched the outside wall in the 25 car.
Jason White goes around his old car on the outside. He wants to be as far up as he can to get the free pass.
Now there are a lot of rookie stripes in this field, and Porta Ching getting a rough welcome here in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series as the 25-21 of Jason White goes around the outside and moves into 18th position. Now Porta Ching will try and hold that car to the inside. These cars a lot different from the late models that she's normally running here at Vernon.
Well, a little bit heavier, a little more horsepower. There's a lot of things to get used to.
Now there's the Castrol Dodge, DJ Kennington continuing out front, in trouble for the 69 right in front of the leader. That's Trevor Siebert in the Lake Excavating Ford Fusion. And this will draw the caution as Siebert unable to find a gap to get going once again. Just about to go a lap down, hard on the gas pedal coming off of 3, and that'll slow the field once again. DJ Kennington, your leader, 50 laps in.